Hi guys, just wanted to touch on a couple of things that people came in to ask questions on before this test tomorrow. So first thing is the Pythagorean theorem and the converse of the Pythagorean theorem. So if we know, remember in a triangle, right, this is your C, this is your A, this is your B. So if we know that C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared, then that means it's a right triangle. Okay, if C squared is less than A squared plus B squared, it's acute. And if C squared is greater than A squared plus B squared, then it is obtuse. So as long as you can remember that or even recognize it, if you see it, you're good. The problem is we had some problems where they were square roots and people weren't really sure what to do. There are also some with the regular Pythagorean theorem where there were square roots. So just let's, we'll go over an example here where you have it. So we'll look at this example here from the review. I think it was root 3 feet to root 2 feet and then root 5 feet. So this right here is my hypotenuse. So I'm going to set it up. 2 root 2 squared, and I'm going to compare it to root 3 squared plus root 5 squared. When you square 2 root 2, you square 2. 2 squared is 4. Root 2 squared, the root cancels. You're just left with 2. So that gives you 8. On this side, you're left with 3 plus 5. So that is also 8. Therefore, they are equal. It is a right triangle. If you are careful with this, you should be fine. The next section I think a lot of people struggled with was the similarity in a triangle. So if this is your, if this is your right triangle, this is the leg, this is a leg, this is the altitude, this is your hypotenuse, this is a segment, this is a segment, right? So there's two types of proportions. One is with the altitude. The altitude is the geometric mean. So that means it goes here and here, right? It doesn't matter if it's a number or a letter. It's always going to go in that position. It's the geometric mean between the two segments. So segment of the hypotenuse, right? Okay, the other one is with the leg. The leg is a geometric mean. So it doesn't matter what leg they give you. It could be a letter, it could be a number. It's still going to be the same thing on bottom and on top. Okay? It is a geometric mean between the hypotenuse and the segment of the hypotenuse touching that leg. So let's look at an example. In this one here, I'll just take one from the review. They give you 12, they give you X, they give you 16. This piece right here is an altitude, right? So that means you're going to use the formula for altitude, the proportion, this one up here. So altitude is 12. It's going to go on bottom and on top. It is the geometric mean between the two segments, so X and 16. Cross multiply. 144 equals 16x. Divide by 16. You get, what, 9? Okay. Let's look at another one. All right, let's look at, scroll down here a little bit. All right, you had another one here. I'm looking at 23. They have, whoa, doesn't look like a right triangle, but, so I'm rushing here. This is 15, this is 9, this is X. So what they give me here is a leg, which means I have to use the formula, the proportion for leg, this one right here. So in the leg position, the leg they give me is 15. So 15 goes here and here. The leg is the geometric mean between the hypotenuse. What is my whole hypotenuse? It's 9 plus x. and the piece of the hypotenuse touching that leg. So the 9, this one, is touching the 15. So the 9 goes here. Cross multiply. 15 times 15 is 225. 80 equals 81 plus 9x. Subtract 81 on both sides. And then divide by 9. So x equals 16. Okay? Set up the proportion. When you get your test, draw this picture, write these proportions, the first thing you want to do when you get it. Okay. The next one were those special triangles, right? So 45, 45, 90. And the other one is 30, 60, 90. In a 45, 45, 90, it's isosceles, so these two sides are the exact same. So if this side is x, this side is x. Whatever that side is, you multiply by root 2 to get the hypotenuse. Okay? So for example, if I give you this and I give you, hey, this side is 2, and I want you to find, we'll just call this x and this y, then x is 2 and y is 2 root 2, right? Sorry, this was a 45, 45, 90. Okay? What if I gave you the hypotenuse? Like, what if I said the hypotenuse is 5? Then you have to go backwards. You have to divide by root 2. So this would be 5 divided by root 2, which is not okay. You have to multiply top and bottom by root 2. So it's really 5 root 2 over 2 for both sides. Okay, that's just a quick review of 45, 45, 90. In a 30, 60, 90, the side across from the 30 is the short. The side across from the 90 is the long, and the other side is the hypotenuse. Okay, the long leg, you always need this short side, right, in order to get the other two. If they give you the short, you multiply by root 3 to get the long. You multiply by 2 to get the hypotenuse. Okay, so for example, let's say they gave me this triangle. I'll put the 30 up here, 60 down here. Let's say they gave me the hypotenuse was 10. So I need to go backwards. I need to divide by 2 and get the short leg, which is 5. Then I need to multiply that by root 3 to get the long. So 5 root 3, right? What if they gave me, let's say they gave me the long leg is 5 root 3. I'm going to go backwards to divide by root 3. You get 5. Once you know the short leg, you multiply to get the hypotenuse. That's 10. Okay? So just keep that in mind. You will get these like pictures. You just have to make sure you are being careful of what do you do, multiply or divide. Keep all of your algebra straight. The last thing on our list of stuff to do was SOHCAHTOA. Okay, so whenever you're given a triangle, you first want to label the side. So like say this side is 33. This would be opposite, this would be adjacent, this would be hypotenuse. So if I gave you this side was, let's not use that. If I gave you like this side was like 3 and this side was 4, then that is my adjacent and my hypotenuse. So I would want to do cosine 33 equals, actually let's make one of them a variable. Sorry, doesn't make sense if I have everything not. X over 3. Multiply by 3 to solve for x. Type that in your calculator, see what you get. Okay? And so on and so on. So label your triangle. When finding the angle, use inverse. So that means on your calculator, you would have a ratio. You would hit second inverse, so you have this -1. And then let's just say that was a number. I guess the hypotenuse has to be bigger, so we'll make this like 13, and then make this like 3. right? So then you would do like 3 over 13. Because the hypotenuse always has to be the longest side, right? So that would give you whenever you're looking for an angle. Okay, so in short, that's my quick review of everything. Go ahead and go back and redo practice problems. If you were not getting them correct or you didn't know how to do them, now is the time to go back so that you are ready for your test. All right, see me for help.